Hello! Look at this computer. Why does it have so many DVI connectors in different places? And why are these two connected to each other? Why is this tiny audio cable poking out of it and plugging into itself? Why does it have a USB Type-B connector on it? And why might that connect to itself? And the expansion card that it's on, why does it need Ethernet, USB Type-B, and a DVI connector? Is it a graphics card? Is it a network card? Also, what on earth are these connectors for? Never seen those on a PC before. And is that a volume knob? And speaker outputs? Clearly this PC is for some very specific purpose. Yes, it is. I built it specifically for its purpose, which is to be the controller for my giant LED Rubik's Cube, which will be formed of LED matrix panels and will be about as big as my original version 1 giant cube. We'll walk through all these unusual features it has and take a look inside at what's going on in there. Let's get into the details. The easiest part to explain is the audio situation. This cube is going to be set up in a field for about 5 days, and I'd like it to be easy to get it set up. One of the steps in the setup process is to connect these speakers to the audio amplifier. I have a little audio amp built into the PC case, and some speaker wire connectors poking through one of the larger openings on the back of the case. The audio amp takes its input from the PC's audio output, so that's why there's an audio cable permanently plugged into the PC and going back inside the case. I don't have to set up a separate audio amp. This one's already connected to the power, and the audio output, I just need to connect the speakers. But, of course, it's not just audio that we need. The LED panels need to be driven by some kind of video hardware. This card is designed to drive the LED panels from a DVI input. It's shaped like a regular PCI card, but it doesn't actually make use of the PCI bus at all. That's slightly disappointing because it means it takes input from a DVI connector on the outside of the machine instead. This is why I need a graphics card and a DVI cable. This takes the video produced by the PC and feeds it into the LED panel sender card. These connectors you will certainly recognize if you've ever used wired Ethernet on any PC from the past few decades. These are the outputs for transmitting video to the LED panels. As far as I understand it, they aren't doing Ethernet, or at least nothing more than the physical layer. They're just a convenient connector. The USB connector on there is for sending the configuration of the LED panels to the sender card. This is only something I need to do once, so I don't actually need to use this in the field. When I do use it, I don't even need to have it connected to this PC specifically. I can use any PC to do the configuration. Oh, actually, you know what? It's time for a rant. I've had this panel for experimenting with for a while, and I've been wanting to show you it working, but this is the best I can do. The software for configuring these panels is a nightmare. You see, these LED panels often follow some kinds of de facto standards that make some parts interchangeable, but not in a plug-and-play kind of way. You can get your LED panels and the receiver cards to go in them from different manufacturers if you want to. A particularly popular sender or receiver card manufacturer is Novastar. This card is a Novastar sender card. I have put a Novastar receiver card in this LED panel. If you have a configuration file from the manufacturer of the panel, then you'll have a nice easy time getting it to work. But I don't have the configuration file for this one. So I need to know what kind of LED driver chips and decoding logic this panel uses, so that I can configure the receiver to know how to display an image on it. I know what the LED driver chip is in this one, but it's not actually listed in the configuration software as an option, so I picked one that's similar in function, but maybe not exactly the same. Anyway, there's an automated setup tool to derive all of the other parameters from these ones, and I've tried that so many times with so many different initial options, but this is the closest I could get to having the right image. There's also a plethora of options to set, which are all really low-level timing-based configuration options. They need to be right, but I certainly haven't got them right, and I don't know where to start. The software also uses lots of different words to describe collections of panels, and I'm sure they all have subtly different meanings that are important. A screen is made up of modules, but is a module a part of a cabinet? Is a cabinet the same as a module? Is a panel part of a module or part of a cabinet? Why doesn't this rotation option work? So, anyway, I've bought some LED panels from a manufacturer that can give me a working config file for their panels. This is an excellent time to mention, you can support me on Patreon or YouTube. This is by far the most money I've put into an art installation. I would really appreciate some help covering the costs. It would mean a lot. How about this too? If you have sent me at least £15 in total via Patreon or YouTube before the end of the 10th of June, then you can opt in to have your name or YouTube handle engraved somewhere on the cube before it's deployed at EMF camp. Anyway, back to the PC. So it's capable of audio output and video output. This is enough for a giant video cube, but this is supposed to be a Rubik's Cube that you can play. These paddle switches on the edges are what make that possible. To connect these up to the PC, I added these connectors to the back panel. These are connected to this Raspberry Pi Pico, which I am reusing from the old cube. It's the same switch system. This connects internally to the motherboard via USB. There is one thing different about the switches though. I have replaced all of the original plywood paddle switch assemblies with plastic switch assemblies. When I took Cube version 1 to EMF Camp in 2022, the rain came down fairly hard on the poor cube, and all of these untreated plywood parts in the switches soaked up the rainwater, swelled, seized up, warped, and just generally felt quite mushy after a little while. This time, that's impossible. There's a couple of other things on the back of the PC. A Wi-Fi card so I can easily get the cube on the network, and a serial port for debugging if it doesn't boot up. I wrote some software to run on this PC on top of Debian Linux, and it's going to connect to the Pico to receive switch events and generate video output to put on the faces of the cube. The electronics is all ready to go. The software is fully working. The last thing I need to do is get those LED panels and build a frame to hold them. And then we're good to go for Cube V2. Don't forget, if you've donated at least £15 in total before the 10th of June, you can opt in to have your name engraved on the cube. Patreon link and YouTube buttons below. Thanks for coming along with me on this strange adventure to make an excessively large cube. I look forward to soon posting a video of it actually working. The panels will be arriving soon.